I did one at UCLA, and they gave us free dinner.
Oh, that's not like was it cafeteria dinner from the school or like real dinner?
Dude, cafeterias from the
Pretty good.
school. If you could eat that every meal of your life, you would live the greatest life ever.
Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. It's Hey Watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Ace in Your Face, Tony.
Hey, Ace in Your Face 7. There's a number at the end of it. It's Ace in Your Face 7, not your face. Y-O. That's my gamer tag. If anybody wants to reach out, come on by. I play Xbox. I play Switch. Come on by. If you're gonna plug it, Dan, I'm gonna finish the plug. Okay.
So we looked it up. We're like, what? Ace in Your Face? That's such a stupid name.
Oh, Pikmin. Is that where you found it?
Yeah, we saw it on there.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
Got it.
looked,
I'm sorry. Continue.
We looked it up, and it was a gay porno.
Wait. There's no way that's right. Somebody stole my names and is doing these great gay pornos, and I'm not seeing any money? Holy shit. I'm getting robbed. That's unbelievable.
So that's where Tony got his name.
I got my name because I love Ace. Ace has always been my name, but then when we started expanding into like the Xboxes, there's so many people using gamer tags, Ace was taken immediately. So I was like, what else do I have? And then I was like, oh, I'm super competitive, which is not true at all. But I was like, Ace in Your Face. And then it turns out that was also taken. So then I had to put 7, which is my favorite number.
Lucky number 7, Tony.
Lucky number 7, baby. It served me well so far. I'm doing great. I don't know if you know this.
Tony's going to get in your faces today. And on this show, we talk about a movie. And I got to pick the movie this week, and I picked the seminal classic Wild Hogs.
Wild Hogs!
2007, an hour and 39 minutes.
Feels a little longer.
Starring John Travolta.
Oh, boy.
Tim Allen. William H. Macy.
Yeah!
And Martin Lawrence.
Oh, boy. That's how I feel. Yeah, that's how I feel about each character. Now you got the cliff notes.
Yeah, Martin Lawrence doesn't get to do much.
It's not his fault.
No.
Like his character is awful. It's a terrible human, first of all. I don't like him at all. I kind of wanted him to get run over and be roadkill. If I'm being honest, he's a garbage human being.
He had enough personality for you to actually have an opinion about him?
He is so mean to his wife that provides for him and gave him a year off of work. She's like, you don't have to work for a whole year. You can chase your dreams and do nothing, even though we got 2 kids that I'll take care of by myself. And all this guy does is complain about how she nags him. Oh, my God, this bastard. Oh, fuck you, man. I was so mad. So mad at this guy. What a piece of trash.
So we start off with the titles, and then we go into a song.
And
give me some lovin'.
Songs?
Give me some lovin'. 80s, maybe 80s and 90s, maybe a little bit of 90s, maybe.
Little 90s? Okay, I just heard mostly 80s, and I was like, for a movie that's in 2007, not a good start. You should really update your soundtrack a little bit.
We pull, John Travolta pulls out, and then Tim Allen pulls into formation, and then Martin Lawrence pulls into formation, and then William H. Macy comes out there, fist pumps, and then runs into a sign.
This is my biggest laugh of the movie.
Oh, okay.
I laughed because I was so shocked. It's shocking. You don't see it coming, and then he's dead. He's been decapitated. They start the movie by decapitating their most famous person. But he's fine.
No, William H. Macy's who they do that to.
Yeah, the most famous and the best person in this movie. 100%.
He may be the best, but he's not the most famous.
He was in Jurassic Park 3, Dan. Okay? Nobody else can say that. I mean, other than the other people that were in the movie, of course.
Yeah, I think there are other people.
Vince Vaughn, I think. I think Vince Vaughn's in the same one as as he is. It's hard to keep those sequels straight, if I'm being honest.
Um,
2 and 3 are a bit of a blur.
So wait, you didn't see that something terrible was going to happen to him, and that
Well, I
was
mean,
the
you
joke?
know something's going to happen, but him running into a sign, flying off the bike, his bike toppling. Well, that bike is trashed. This guy goes through 6 bikes in the movie, give or take. No one seems to care. This guy's loaded. This guy has so much money. He's got 52 bikes just sitting at home. But it's funny because, you know, they do a good job set up. What does he say? Because he skids and like catches it. Now he's driving on the grass, and he looks at his friends and says something to the akin to "I almost lost it there," and then he runs into a sign. It's funny.
Boink.
It's funny. Boink. But then he just gets up, and I'm here to tell you, he was going at least 35 miles per hour, and he hit a metal sign. He's dead. This man is dead.
Yeah, whenever they do injuries, they make them over the top, and then the person's just like, "Oh, let me dust myself off."
And it's mostly William H. Macy. He gets up, he's like, "Don't worry, I just hit my butt." That was one of his lines later. Which, by the way, he didn't land on his butt during that crash at all. He lands on his front and then gets up and says, "Don't worry, I hit my butt." He's dead. William H. Macy dead 4 to 5 times in this movie. Everyone else dead 1 to 2. A lot of death in this movie.
A lot of death. I was thinking of that. We did that, the movie with Kevin Hart and Marky Mark, and stuff happens.
The guy Weekend or
something.
Something dumb.
Way better movie than this movie.
Oh, yeah, way better. And there's some stupid stuff that happens there when that lion is on the mountain and eats him. I mean, that, you know, it's dumb. But that movie was pretty funny. I'll be honest. I love Kevin Hart.
That movie's dumb funny, right? They're just like, the things are beyond absurd. And if he was to get, you know, guys got mauled by mountain lions and things, and then they're fine in the next scene, and you're like, well, that's the movie. In this movie, they're trying to make it like it's a real movie, and then they
just throw in these absurd things.
Yeah, and you're just like, totally, there's no consistency to this movie.
No, not at all. And then, you know, there's some really outdated, terrible jokes in the movie. So there's just a lot of bad things happening all around poor William H. Macy, who's doing his best. And I found him very likable in this movie.
Yes. Well, we'll talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we start off, we meet Doug, Tim Allen's character, breakfast. His kid that seems like a step kid is his kid, and the kid has no respect for him because he's a dentist.
Apparently everyone in that family hates dentists. Well, everyone in the world, apparently. Everybody seems to treat them pretty. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I'm very nice to my dentist because he's in my mouth. You know what I mean? Well, hold on. You know what I'm saying? He's with tools, with his big tools.
Got the tool in Tony's mouth. Yes, that's where he puts his tool.
Yeah,
right in Tony's mouth.
Yeah,
and so we do a cholesterol thing with him.
A lot of LDL jokes. Do we call them jokes or just mentions?
They're LDL jokes. I laughed twice in this movie, so.
Are you going to spoil them now, or are you going to let us know when we get there?
I will alert you when we finally get there.
Yeah, throw up the flag so we all know.
Late in the movie. So, yeah, that's his kid does not respect him, and then he gets his, so that's what we're trying to get to. And basically, we get to the end of the movie, and his kid just shows up and then respects him.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. He doesn't have much of an arc.
Bobby, Martin Lawrence's character, is writing a book, a how-to book of something.
Do they not? Because not right away, but eventually I started thinking, hey, what's his book about? Because I thought for sure at the end of the movie, he was going to be like, I know how to finish the book.
Pulls out the manuscript that he's been working on the whole time. They're all like, when were you working on that? While you were asleep or something.
Yeah, great. Yeah, something stupid. I love it. No.
His thing, no. And then he is the wife, works for a living. Actually, maybe there's 2.5 laughs because the hot daughter comes out and she's going
Oh,
out, and he says, "You're dressed like where are you going?
Eskimo
Dressed like an
hooker.
Eskimo hooker." That was a good line because she looked like she was an Eskimo hooker.
And what was nice is all she said in return was, "That's the point." And I was like, "Good for you, girl."
She gets the
wear what you
bigger
want.
gets the bigger laugh herself.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
And so, of course, the grandma's there, and she's all like, "You suck," and then the wife is like, "You suck."
Hold on. We got to really narrow in on why he sucks, because what the grandma says is, back in my day, the men would provide for the family, not the women. As if this is the worst thing that could happen in the world, is a woman providing for her family instead of the man. Listen, someone come take care of me. You can provide all you want for the family, and I will chase my dreams. Let me know. I need a sugar mama.
It is true.
Ridiculous.
And then
he's so upset.
So the wife is like, "Today's the day that your 1 year sabbatical to write the book is
I
up."
gave you 1 year off work. Incredible. And now you have to go back to work because guess what? We have 2 kids in a house and apparently a mother that lives with us. We need money. So go to work, you lazy piece of shit. That's what she should have said, but she didn't. And he just gets so mad at her for being like, "Just do the bare minimum, guy. Just do the bare minimum. That's all I'm asking." He's like, "How dare you?" Unbelievable.
And so we immediately cut to him being back at his job. And what is his job, and what does he have to go do?
Well, he's a plumber. Which
makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense, but I think plumbers get paid pretty well, don't they?
Plumbers do. I won't say they do great, but they do.
Sure.
It is a very good middle class living.
Yeah, blue collar.
He seems not at all like a plumber. Not at all like he's blue collar. He acts not at all blue collar. It's just they don't even set it up that he could be blue collar.
Not only do they do the opposite, because later William H. Macy has a bag of poop. I don't know if you remember this, but he's bagging up his poop. Martin Lawrence, terrified of it. This guy's never seen poop before in his life that isn't his. Okay, he's not a plumber. I'm sorry.
And then we do a whole him having to go to the mini mart where the dude from Napoleon Dynamite is working as the cashier.
Where he's from.
Dude, and that dude gets to be funnier than Martin Lawrence in the situation.
Yes. And I laughed here too. I know that you didn't laugh. I laughed a lot during this movie because it's dumb. But, some of his lines were pretty funny. He was like, one of his lines is something like, "Yesterday I got robbed, but now I know today that your job is far worse than mine." I mean, it's funny. It's funny.
They're jokes. This movie does have jokes in them. Whether or not they're actively funny jokes that you're like,
sure.
I'm laughing. Oh my God, I never saw that coming. They're just like, here's what a guy would say. "Oh, your job is worse than mine." And
there's a list of jokes, which I appreciate.
Sure.
He gets a rapid fire of 3 to 4 jokes about how Martin Lawrence's life is so terrible. Martin Lawrence doesn't say anything clever in return. And then we move on.
And we don't even see how terrible it is. We don't have the bathroom and the
I have no empathy for this character throughout the entire movie because they don't make me feel that.
Yeah, we didn't feel sorry for him because we didn't see that he was actually going into a beyond terrible situation. They just talked about it. It's like, show us a situation.
Words. Yeah.
Now we get the saddest of them all. Dudley, William H. Macy's character, he's peeping on this girl that's in a coffee place, and then he starts making his computer work, and then the computer doesn't understand him, and then the computer starts pulling up deviant sex sites.
Some sort of porn. Here's what I will say, Dan. I don't know if you want to share this story in public or not, so I can cut it later if you want. But a few weeks ago, you told me a story about this guy who was watching porn in the middle of the Grove, which is a shopping mall for people that don't know.
He was on his phone, I guess. I didn't see it. Shannon told me. Instead, he wasn't on a laptop. He was watching porn on his phone in like the common area where everybody eats their food.
That's so weird. I mean, that's so weird. But that did make me think of when they did this joke, and I was like, it's relatable, but in a weird way.
But this thing it doesn't make any sense. And then he pours his coffee on his computer and bangs on it.
He destroys a computer. Now, it's 2007. I will be honest, I don't remember 2007. I think I was graduating from college in 2007. I think that was when I graduated.
Sure.
It was when I graduated. So now I'm trying to think of what were computers like, because his computer was responding to voice commands and kind of doing its own version of AI a little bit, which was pretty, I think, really impressive for 2007. And he just destroys a computer and doesn't care about it. That's got to be a very expensive machine for work.
More importantly, he's supposed to be a computer programmer. That is
Right.
his job. He does not know how to push the turn the sound
Escape,
down button.
Or sound, or shut it.
We all
Just
know
shut the laptop.
You shut the laptop. You know, it's like, why are you treating him like he doesn't know what his own business is that we haven't even set up? We're just like the plumber thing. Yeah. We set up the person as a thing. Oh yeah, we don't ever use that. That's
don't deliver it at
this
all.
This kind of movie is you don't pay it off. You're not setting up these people at the beginning. Like why? Yeah. What we're supposed to be setting up why he has trouble with women. And we don't set it up. We set up that a computer pulls up porn sites.
Which is not him being bad with women. That's just bad timing at that point, you know?
It has nothing to do with him.
No, it's weird. And later, I don't know if we want to talk about now, when he's having his conversation with Marissa Tomei and he's telling her, I'm not a motorcycle guy, I'm a geek. We actually don't see him be a geek per se. Mm-hmm.
Nope.
He's socially awkward, for sure, but he doesn't have like the geek jokes. He should be making computer analogies or something that makes me think, oh, this guy's kind of a nerd. He's just socially awkward throughout the movie. So when he's telling her about how he's not even telling her what really is his problem, in my opinion. I don't know, it's weird.
They haven't established a character.
No,
this is the point at which you establish a character, but instead they want this wacky hijink-filled thing where a computer says porno things, which we know you can use perfectly. You know, in there's the video with the jigsaw guy where he's screwing up around in the office, and he goes in there and he makes the person's computer do that. He does that to her.
That is, funny.
Somebody does something to someone, and you're like, oh.
I Love You Man. I'm pretty sure it's I Love You Man with Paul Rudd. Yeah. One of his cubicle mates keeps sending him porn that he can't exit on his computer at work. Also very funny.
There it is. His friend does that. Woody sends it to him. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
That's what they're always screwing with him. But no, that would be building character.
That's nice, Dan. That was really nice. Did you think about that before? That's a good solve.
Well, no, any person that has a brain could solve the problems with a stupid movie.
If I
even you
had a brain.
Don't. Then we get to Woody, John Travolta's character. He's at his lawyer, who's telling him he's broke, and you're getting divorced, and your wife.
What I will say is he had a great line right off the bat. His one or two, his first or second line, I was excited because the lawyer goes, "You're broke," and John Travolta looks at him and he goes, "Okay, but what does that mean?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, that's funny. That's really good." But then they don't go with the bit where he's so rich or so used to wealth that he doesn't understand how to navigate a world without money, which I think is relatable. Instead, he spins out of the planet and goes crazy. But
and how through this movie is he ever affected by having no wealth?
And that's what I'm saying. Nothing. We don't explore that first, maybe second line. I was like, okay, there's a character that we can deal with, and then we don't. We don't deal with it at all.
And
except for one moment where he says it to his friends. Oh, you're all I have left. I don't care. I don't care, John.
More importantly, at the end of the movie, we do not even resolve anything about his story.
Nope. Not at all. Not even a little bit. We're not even worried about him at the end.
Nope, we don't care.
Very worried.
He's very worried. Then he's like arguing with somebody about the price of something on the phone, and we go outside. Actually, this is a funny moment.
It's pretty funny.
That if John Travolta knew how to comedically act, might have been good.
Dude. Okay, this is a good moment just to talk really quickly about John Travolta in this movie. I don't think I've ever seen someone push harder in anything ever. And I'm talking community theater, our shitty sketch teams that improv. I've never seen anyone push harder and get zero results than I do in this movie with John Travolta. He's at a 170 and he should be at an 80 at most.
If you saw this on stage, you would be going like this.
Oh,
Stop,
oh my
stop,
God.
Stop.
Someone
stop,
pull him off.
Stop.
Just red light. Give him the light. Give him the light.
Time out,
Oh,
time
God.
out. It's
Painful.
painful. And it's weird because Tim Allen, good actor, good comedic actor. Martin Lawrence, fine actor, good comedic actor. And when Tim Allen is like being real, he feels real. When John Travolta is going in this weird thing, it just, you don't even know what's happening.
He's not human. He's not a human. I don't know. It's sad. I don't know. We were discussing it last night. I want to try to go. We should go through the whole Travolta catalog and just figure out where he lost his fucking mind. Because somewhere along the way, his brain broke and he became an alien. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it's a body snatcher situation. John Travolta in a cave somewhere on an alien planet being held captive. Maybe he's their king at this point because just John Travolta, was the coolest of cool.
The real John Travolta.
Now he's a fucking nutter. Something happened. I don't know.
There is no point in this movie where you look at him and you say, this guy's cool.
Not for a second.
I mean, that's really who he should be, really. He should be like this
John
guy.
Travolta. He is cool.
He should be the actual cool guy, and then all these other guys are kind of in his orbit, trying 100%. To, Okay, let's talk about let's finish on this scene.
Okay,
so he's arguing with the kid that's cutting his lawn, who said he would cut any lawn for $10. It's a funny bit.
Yeah, it's funny, but here's the thing: the kid far funnier than John Travolta. The kid, I hope he's worked. He is so funny. It's like it's too many leaves for $10, and he's just screaming. He's great. Kid's amazing.
The kid is over the top, and you buy it from him.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, no, the kid's great. Very committed. I hope he's worked.
Okay. Why do these guys have these jackets and these motorcycles and this supposed existence? I don't understand it
already.
Yeah,
I don't understand why they have it already, because this seems as if they're going through their moment. What is this called? Midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis, yeah.
I'm not there yet, so I don't know what it's called, Dan. I'm kidding. I had mine about 12 years ago, and I'm still in it. This is where they should get the bikes. This should be the move. They're like, we got to change our lives because we're losers. Let's get some bikes and go on a ride. Instead, they're just, we have bikes. We ride once a week, every week. Let's ride them further. What? What the fuck is, that's nothing. That's nothing. I don't understand.
It's like, and they don't even set up that they do it. They did it at the beginning, which didn't make much sense. You don't understand. It's very weird. They also don't differentiate them very well. So it's kind of hard to tell the difference between them, except William H. Macy.
When they have their gear on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's weird.
Oh, they should each have very specific bikes, I feel, even, but we don't.
They didn't seem to. We do Doug's kid not respecting him again because he wants to go play basketball with like another dad. Which wouldn't he just say, "I'll come with you"?
But the kid doesn't want this. I leaned over to Naomi, and I was like, "This is my fucking nightmare." Which is listen, everybody, we're decided we're not having kids, so new nightmare, but. My biggest fear was that my kid wouldn't want to hang out with me because I want to hang out with the kid all the time.
He'd be like,
so I got it.
Could you call Dan Goodsell and have him come over? I'll be like,
I will kill Dan Goodsell. Okay, how about that? You won't get nobody gets him. How about that? So this I understood sort of, but this isn't really his problem even. because his wife emasculates him at the dinner table, which is why he ends up deciding to go. We haven't talked about it yet, but it's not about his kid not loving him. It's because she's like, well, you're boring. You're not a real man. You're boring.
Oh, did she say that to him at the dinner?
Not in those exact words, but that's why he starts eating the food, and he's like, I'm excited. But we're not there yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, we're not there yet.
But no, his kid is like a weird side story that doesn't really drive his character at all. No. I don't know.
So they pull out their jackets. William H. Macy crashes again
afterwards. Yeah. Hold on, we gotta talk about the dinner table one more time.
No. We're not to the dinner. We're not to the dinner.
Not dinner table. At the bar when they're talking at the bar. Oh no! Wait, are you right? Does he crash before they get to the bar?
Yeah, he crashes. He crashes before they get to the bar. And then
he rides with John Travolta.
Then he rides with John Travolta. And they just they leave the bike, crash.
And smells his neck.
He smells his neck.
Which is the first of many
homophobic.
Yeah. I was trying to be nicer than that. But it's really, they hit it really hard in this movie, right?
This movie, usually in older movies, you have the thing where you'll do a bit about
2007, not that old. Let's just be clear.
Yes, yeah. No. You'll do a weird thing is we're they'll be acting like men, and then they'll be but not that kind of man. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Barf, barf,
yeah.
barf. This movie has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times they do it.
Maybe more.
Maybe more. And when they get into it, you become uncomfortable because they build the set pieces around homophobia.
Around the joke, the homophobic jokes. It's weird.
It's super weird and super sloppy and lazy. And I mean, truthfully, if you want to, talk about it, not funny.
No, not funny at all.
So
the cop, who I feel bad, I can't remember his name. He is funny.
Funny guy. Yeah.
Funny guy. Not this movie does him a huge disservice. Woof.
So he smells him, and then when Travolta gets off his bike, he's like, "That is not okay. You cannot smell me."
But he's also backed up by Martin Lawrence then. John Travolta, really? Mad, storms off in the thing. Martin Lawrence comes up and he's like, "Did you smell that man's neck?" As if this is, and he's like, "No." They double shame him for smelling another man's cologne. Very weird. Just the tip of the iceberg, everybody. That's just the beginning.
You're immediately like, okay, that's really weird.
Yeah.
The smelling was weird, but then this weird, and we're not going to talk about anybody's sexuality on here, but John Travolta.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
Which might be why he pitched it so hard to be homophobic. I
don't know where John Travolta sits, but there's been things I've seen that make you. So it's just weirder.
I don't know. Ugh.
So they go inside. The guy from the West Coast Choppers that builds bikes comes up there and says, "Oh, you didn't know who that dude was?"
Even when you just said it now, I was like, "Is this a real?" They don't introduce him like that, Dan.
No.
What are you talking? This is is it a show?
Oh yeah, this was right at this point. There was these two guys who made weird motorcycles on a reality show.
Okay,
and that tells me everything I want to know. This is lost on a lot of people. Lost on you.
I imagine it is. Yeah.
And it's when you build your jokes into your movie, you want to think about not just the next minute, but 10 years later. You want your movies to be evergreen to an extent. And if you make jokes like having this guy come over there and, people, what?
There's 3 guys, a dad and 2 sons.
Oh, a dad and 2 sons, I guess.
American Choppers.
Thank you, Shannon. Fact checked by Shannon.
And then maybe it's West Coast Choppers, which is, I think out in Pasadena. I think I've driven past it.
I love Pasadena.
So you thrown in this guy who's basically an inside joke that people are all why is this happening? What's happening?
Went right over my head. Yeah.
Went right over your head.
No idea.
And you didn't think it was funny and you were confused, weren't you?
not only was I confused, but I didn't even understand that it was supposed to be like a guy I should know. Otherwise, I would have looked it up. If I had the feeling where I was like, I think I'm supposed to know who this is to get these jokes, I would have looked it up and been like, oh, okay, they're referencing something that has, died a dozen years ago. But I didn't even understand it to the point where I thought I should know who he is. That's a problem.
That's called an inside joke, and you don't make inside jokes because you lose the audience because you're laughing about a thing that the audience does not understand why you're laughing.
And I don't know if you've ever been on the outside of an inside joke, everybody. It's annoying. You know what I mean? Like if two people are tittering over there and you don't know what the fuck's going on, you don't just sit there passively. You're like, I'm annoyed. What are you laughing at? Tell me. I don't understand what's happening here and I don't like it. And that's how I felt during that scene.
There it is. So then they're like, let's road trip. No rules.
Wait, hold on. Not yet. They each talk about their problems again, which is ridiculous. We understand you're whiny men. But at one point, they talk about the patches that Tim Allen's wife has made.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they make fun of her for it.
Yeah.
That was really rude. She did a nice thing for you and made a patch for your stupid fucking motorcycle club, and you're going to make fun of her for it?
Now, so did she make up the name Wild Hogs and then just brand them with that?
I think they made up Wild Hogs, and then she, as to do something nice, made them like a cool little logo for their patch on their jackets. And they were just mean about it. They're like, we only wear it because we feel bad. Like, fuck you guys, you monsters. I mean, these guys are all terrible human beings. And then Travolta brings up his wife, and somebody was like, well, what has your wife ever... Oh, because Tim Allen's response to them making fun of his wife was, well, what has your wife ever made for us? What has your wife ever made us is the question. And do you remember Martin Lawrence's response? Hard.
Oh, yeah,
he says she's hot. Made us hard because she's hot. And then they all talk about how hot she is. And nothing. It's a terrible scene. This is one of the worst man scenes I've seen in a long time. Just a bunch of degrit. I hate him. I hate everyone in this movie except for William H. Macy.
And then Travolta's like, well, I'm going with or without you. And then the other guys are like, we don't know because we're handpicked and don't, like, why didn't William H. Macy's guy immediately go, yeah, I'm going? Like, why would he not? Why would he say no?
I mean, he has nothing. He has literally nothing. He can just go.
I mean, that's actually a good joke. He's like, well, I'm going to go with or without you guys. When Miss Macy's like, well, I want to go. Yeah, I don't care if you guys. And then we do a whole bit where Travolta doesn't care.
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
Macy comes or not.
Of course you're going. Nobody cares. What about you two? I love you too.
His real friends. There should be that whole William H. Macy's not the real friend. And that's cruel, but true. There are always
mean more when they go back and save him from the bad guys later in the movie because they're like, oh, he's our brother.
But it is just Dudley. But he's our brother. Yeah, but it's Dudley.
Right? What a moment. What a nice moment that would be. And then they all come together and they save him in a really terrible fashion. And then the movie's over.
Or someone random could just show up and solve all their problems without anything happening. Or you could just do that.
Never met before.
Someone not hinted at, that played no role in the movie could just show up and fix all the problems.
But it's super important to the plot and familial relations to some of the characters. I mean, you really want to surprise people with that 11th inning reveal. Oh my God. This movie's so bad.
11th inning reveal? What's an 11th inning reveal?
I don't know. I just came out. I don't know. Is that a thing? How many innings are in baseball? I think it's 9, right?
Last I looked,
so that's like 2 extra innings, and then all of a sudden, boom! He comes save the day. Mark McGwire. It's the only baseball player I can name.
So now
Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh, greatest Simpsons with the baseball.
Also, one of the best video games, Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball for the Super Nintendo. Oh, man, that game was good. Look it up, kids. It's great. There's got to be an emulator you can play somewhere. Get it.
So, boom, Tim's at dinner, And then the wife's like, your son doesn't like you because you're lame. And so then he starts eating potatoes out of the thing. Then he picks up a stick of butter and starts eating a stick of butter.
It's gross, man.
Have we ever talked about butter?
What is that? I would say no. I don't know what that means. Have we ever why would we talk about butter, Dan?
I love butter.
You love butter. Have you eaten a stick of butter? Would
So
you just eat it like a candy bar?
Didn't we talk about this? I talked about this with someone. Oh, it wasn't you. This was Sue Kate.
Oh, it wasn't you. That's right.
Years ago, I was listening to public radio, and then there's a woman called Evan Kleinman, who's like their food person, and she talked about how you can go to France and do butter tastings, and talked all about eating butter, about just eating butter. In France, they just eat butter, which is a thing that he does. He eats a stick of butter.
He says it's the French. He says so. They were right. Okay, continue.
We have butter here. I love real butter. I hate margarine. I will eat. I love it. It's delicious.
Like table butter? Like there's nothing else to it?
Nothing else to it.
I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this thing.
I will also eat sour cream. I love sour
by
cream.
Itself, not with a potato, not on a taco.
I mean, I'll do it on all those things too.
Supreme burrito.
I will walk it. I don't generally do it because I would just constantly do it, but I'll eat a spoonful of sour cream.
So like sour cream's. It's sour, right? Is that
sour.
the word?
I love it. It's delicious.
Now, okay. Let me just. So you're walking into a kitchen.
Yeah.
And on the back of the stove, you just see a butter on a plate, stick of butter, because I'm warming it up so I can spread it on.
Real cold.
You like it cold?
You got to eat butter real cold. Real cold. Real cold.
I need it chilled. Can I get my butter chilled, please? What is going on with you, Dan?
Also, what I'll do now is I'll make my piece of toast. I did this today.
Okay.
So pull my piece of toast out.
Is great.
I then put my cold hand on it, and I cool it down. Flip it over, cool it down.
Dead hand on the toast to cool it off.
Then when I spread the butter on there, it doesn't all melt. It's still like a solid.
But that's what I want. I want it to melt into the bread a little bit. That's what makes it delicious, Dan. Oh, boy. You got some real problems over there.
Or in French.
Or you're French. Yeah, you little Francois. I mean, okay.
So when he starts eating the stick of butter, I was like, go, man, go. Prove yourself.
Do it.
Screw them.
Tim. I have never seen anyone do that before, and I was terrified. I was very scared. But I will say, so my brother used to love butter and chocolate chip sandwiches. You ever tried that?
That sounds delicious.
That's all he used to eat in high school. That was his snack of choice. He would just go to the fridge, slather on some butter, and then dribble some chocolate chips on top, make a sandwich, eat it up. He loved it.
That's the same sort of as the Nutella. I mean, I would rather have Nutella just because chocolate chips are a little too big to kind of...
Oh, you're saying Nutella and butter?
That would be good.
Why would that be? Just do the Nutella. That you're done. You're all set.
Nutella and butter? Oh.
Nutella on both sides, you're done. Or Nutella and peanut butter, then I'm on board.
But you see, Nutella and butter is perfect because the butter gives you the saltiness and the Nutella gives you the sweetness.
I mean,
see, that's why disagree. That's why peanut butter is not the greatest. Is because peanut butter doesn't have enough salt in it.
This is first. I need more salt, please. You do. That's right. You love salt. You love your salt.
I always need more salt.
You want big gobs of salt. You want to eat it salt like a gobstopper. Just. Oh, Dan, you're a funny guy. You're a funny guy. What's going on in this movie?
Then he has a panic attack. And he goes to the hospital, and Dr. Drew's like, you had a panic attack. And you're like, wow, here's Dr. Drew. Everyone's going to laugh.
Thanks, Doc.
Do you remember that one time he came and watched us do comedy?
I really don't. But here's why, is because I don't give a shit about him. He doesn't make me sway my head, you know?
He's friends with Maddie's parents. So they came to one of our shows one time.
You know what? That doesn't surprise me. That's who he would be friends with.
They meet
Now,
up.
I will say, hold on. I also had a nice laugh at the hospital, Dan.
Oh, did you?
I just want to point out where I laughed because I feel like you didn't find this movie funny, and there's some good jokes in here.
There are some decent jokes in this movie. I just didn't laugh at most of them.
I get it. Because you're probably so disappointed with the rest of the movie. Also, I find that the jokes in this movie work best in a bubble and not with the rest of the movie. Does that make sense?
No, because I keep looking at the jokes I've written down. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a funny joke.
That's funny.
But I didn't laugh because it was in the movie.
Exactly, because it's in this movie, and the movie sucks and doesn't make any sense together. But if you isolate these situations, there are some funny jokes. And at one point, Tim Allen, laying in the hospital, blames his wife somehow. He says it's her fault, and she's like, "You're going to blame me for your problems?" And he goes, "I'm in a hospital right now. It is much easier for me to blame other people for my problems." Great line.
Yeah.
It's a great line. So I wrote it down. I laughed really hard.
And if you'd built a sympathetic Tim Allen character, we would have laughed at that.
Right. Yes. 100%.
You haven't done that. So they're all, I guess they've all said yes. So there they are. William H. Macy rolls up his shirt to show the tattoo he got, which is of the Apple computer's Apple.
Macintosh.
Macintosh.
It was Macintosh then. Yeah. Is this a joke? I didn't get it, Dan.
If at this point we knew that he was a computer person, we don't know that yet. They tell us that later in the movie.
That's true.
Right? We don't know that. We don't know what he does for a living. They haven't been told that.
No, and somehow make that the joke then maybe, that it's because that's what he does. But the joke that they make is him being like, yeah, it's trademarked. What are they going to do? What?
It was an okay joke.
What?
It was an okay joke.
But I didn't understand the impetus behind, like, is he sticking it to Macintosh? Is he anti-Mac? Why is he challenging them with the ink on his arm? I don't get it. I don't know.
and then we do a helmet thing, and they make fun of William H. Macy because he's got this leather helmet, and they make a Snoopy versus the Red Baron joke.
Did you like that joke?
I mean, it's a good joke, but I also thought to myself, that is a joke that you're not going to get. Did you get that joke?
I only got it because Snoopy, huge in Minnesota. We used to have, like, at Mall of America, it was Camp Snoopy. That was what the park in the middle used to be called. Now it's Nick Universe, whatever. It sucks now. But yeah, Charles Schultz, huge in Minnesota. That's the only reason I know.
It really felt like a 1972 joke, you know?
It is, because it is, literally. That's... yeah, no, I don't. There's some weird choices in here. Also, should we really be making fun of a guy for wearing a helmet? I understand it's not a great helmet, but the other two are like, we don't need fucking helmets. We're just gonna ride. Idiots. Bad lesson to learn.
Did they wear helmets? You usually have to wear helmets. You get tickets.
So that's what for the first part of their ride. Travolta and Tim Allen not wearing helmets. They put them on later for some reason, where without any discussion, there's never like a moment where they decide to put on helmets. But
there should have been a joke where they go 1 mile, and then the cop pulls them over, gives them all tickets, and then William H. Macy's like,
"See, put on a helmet." But no, they just make fun of them, and then they'd start off with no helmets. It's very, very stupid.
And then one guy throws away one guy's phone, and then the other guy throws a guy's phone. They basically throw away all their cell phones.
Which, by the way, what a horrible decision. You're going on a road trip on motorcycles. You're definitely going to need help at some point. Or just, call to check on your family with your kids. No wonder Tim Allen's kid doesn't give a shit about him. He's going to leave for a week, 2 weeks, not even call him?
No one ever finds a payphone or calls home or does anything like that.
Tim Allen does when they're in Madrid.
Finally does one call.
That's the end of the movie.
Oh, and it's because they have to clue the family in because the family comes from Cincinnati.
Device.
They drive from a device. The whole family drives from Cincinnati to Arizona.
And keep in mind, it has taken the motorcycles weeks to get there, right? Ostensibly, at least a week, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's a week. I think that's what we
then they get there in 8 hours? It's the next day they show up, right?
That's probably I remember I went with a friend and we drove from LA to Chicago, and it took us 40 hours.
Wow. Yeah, no, I drove from Minnesota when I came out. It took me 3-4 days or something.
Yeah, 40 hours. We did it in 2 days. It was a nightmare.
Oh my God. Dan, that's only 8 hours to sleep. What are you doing?
I remember at one point we got fogged in, and we stopped, I think on the side of the road, and I literally hung out the window and fell asleep. Hang both arms out the window in the fog.
Boy, you're lucky this wasn't the movie The Fog or The Mist. Either one, you would have been dead.
Fog or Mist, we're dead.
Something reaches in, pulls you out the window. That's a good moment. Let's shoot that movie.
More music.
But no one will believe that someone would roll down the window and fall asleep outside, hanging out the window, Dan. No one would believe that if I put it in a movie.
Why?
You nut job. Because that's crazy.
There they go. Music, girls in a Jeep. Girls in a Jeep. They're all like, you guys are cool and old. Hot girls in a Jeep. No, not a Jeep.
Never. That would never happen.
If they were young guys, maybe.
Well, sure. Young, attractive, Chris Hemsworth types on the bike with their muscles rippling. Sure.
I remember when we were young. We went to like someplace to camp and hike for like a week. And we were driving, and there were people in another car, and we like handed sodas across from our car to their car because we were young.
Did you know the other car?
No.
Hold on. You're trading drinks with people you don't even know. This is some Mad Max shit, right?
They were like soda pops. They weren't like beers, but yeah.
Well, of course, soda pops.
Woo, we're young and alive. You want a soda pop? Here's a soda pop.
What were you handing over? Mellow Yellows?
No clue. This is so long ago. Okay, girls in a Jeep, then it starts to rain, and then they stop on the side of the road, and then the girls sort of laugh at them because they're all under a tarp on the side of the road.
One of the girls calls them losers. I don't, because they're being safe on motorcycles. You're not supposed to drive in the rain. Let me just say that.
It was so weird them hunching under the thing. Why didn't they just find some place to stop where there's like an overpass, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, yes, Dan, yes. But they didn't. So
I don't know. It was weird.
Because it's a hilarious joke. You must not have gotten it.
So boom, they find their first camping place. They have a giant tent.
Is it giant?
Is
that a 4-person tent?
Where is that tent?
Oh, they don't have it. It was waiting for them there. Don't worry. It's like an Airbnb, right? You could just, along the side of the road, you can request tents to be set up. Don't worry about it.
They don't have any storage space on these bikes.
Gear. Well, they have little saddles, little saddle bags, right? Not that a tent can fit in there, because tents need tent poles, and they're very long.
I think they fold down generally, but yes, there are tent poles.
Well, listen, I don't go camping, Dan. Okay, I don't know what a tent pole is.
Okay, so they're having problems, and they're making marshmallows, and then they throw one of the marshmallows, and it hits the tent, and it burns up the tent.
You are underselling this as usual, good sell. Tim Allen has his fucking marshmallow in the fire 8 minutes, I would say, during this scene. And then someone's like, oh, hey, you want to check that marshmallow? He pulls it up. It is on fire. The flame is like a torch. And he purposefully just throws it over his shoulder. Honestly, he's lucky he hit the tent. Because if he threw that into the woods, which is what they are surrounded by, he has started a forest fire. Very irresponsible camping. That's all I'm saying. I'm very upset about it. And well, I mean, they end up torching the tent anyhow, but I digress.
There it is. So then they just have to sleep. They find like a dirty mattress, and then 3 of them sleep.
No, Martin Lawrence was blowing up that mattress the whole scene.
Oh, you're right. He was.
You're doing that the whole scene. Also, let's just talk about for a second. They blame Dudley because Dudley tries to put out the fire on the tent, and I guess it's gasoline.
Kerosene or something, yeah.
Kerosene. So then and then they blame him. It's like, no, the tent was already on fire. The tent's fucked. Okay, the tent is already dead. Tim Allen threw a flaming marshmallow into it. Don't blame Dudley.
Stupid Dudley.
Poor stupid Dudley.
So then we do a bunch of, 3 of them are on there. Martin Lawrence is off. And then we do a bunch of stuff that can be construed as gay, right? They say a bunch of things.
Homoerotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then this cop is standing there, and he's all
Listening.
like, like excited because he wants to. If first the joke is you're supposed to think, oh, he thinks they're gay, and so he wants to beat them up, but really he's gay and wants to join their gay crowd.
The twist: he's secretly a repressed homosexual, and he wants to have sex with these three men. What a twist!
I don't think he's repressed. I think he's unrepressed.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I only say this because they talk about their wives, and he talks about how jealous he is of he's like, you don't know how lucky you are to have each other.
Okay.
I've experienced this once. I don't know for sure, but I got the feeling like he wasn't fully out, but I don't know.
I think you're right. You are correct. And
it
then
doesn't change the fact that it's horribly offensive and not funny, but
And then William H. Macy, when they run away from him, like he has to be ran away from it. They can't just say, "Oh, sorry, man."
Yeah. No, thank you.
No,
thank you, but no, thank you.
Yeah, you misconstrued what you had to say. They get all bothered, and then Travolta screams at William H. Macy's character, "Put on some pants, for God's sake!"
Yeah.
And this is like the beginning of the horrible Travolta, really.
When was the movie The Hangover released?
Oh, God, please. Don't tell me they watched
The Hangover was 2009.
Oh, thank God.
Why? Wait, what are you upset about? How old is it?
Just that if they'd have watched The Hangover and then this was the movie they made, I would have felt very bad.
The only thing I want to say is, in The Hangover, there's a great no pants joke with Zach Galifianakis and Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper, brilliant in this movie.
Sure.
But the joke is just that he's pantless. It's not a homophobic joke. He just goes, "Will you put some pants on?" I find it a little weird. I have to ask twice. That's a great joke. Because why is this guy hanging around with his dick out? It's weird, right?
It's generally men do not hang around with other men and are generally naked. It is,
right.
You don't have to, and that's the whole thing is you don't have to make it homophobic. You just like do.
Well,
where are you?
We have to even say men. I just don't think people hang out with each other naked all that often, unless, of course, you're in a commune or whatever. I mean, that's fine.
Yes,
but it's not an attack. It's not a personal attack on John Travolta's character.
Yes.
That's the way it shows in this movie. He's like, "You're doing this to me, and it's disgusting." That's not how you do that joke. That's all I wanted to say. So 2 years difference, I guess.
2 years. That's all it took. Boom. They're. I guess there's the next place, and then Tim Allen has to pee, and then he hears real bikers, and they walk out there, and all these real bikers ride past. And there's no joke to it. There's just like, there's real bikers.
It's the opposite. They're like in awe of them. And then they give the speech like, "That's the real thing. That's what we want to be." Or for something. I don't know.
Stupid. Then they ride to more music. And then Tim Allen gets hit by a bug. And then the other guy, Macy and Martin get hit by bugs. And then John Travolta gets hit by a bird.
A crow? Was it a crow?
I did laugh at. I guess I've laughed more than 2 times. I laughed 3 times.
Listen, also, again, so this is John Travolta's first death of the movie, by the way. If you are driving down the highway and a bird runs into your fucking face, you're dead.
Very bad.
You're dead. Have you hit a bird with your car before? Dead.
No, I've never hit a bird.
It's a solid creature, okay? And it's flying the other way. You're dead. But what are these green bugs? These are huge. These are like mutant bugs. They're this big and they explode all over the face. It's disgusting. I was just curious. I don't know what bug they are. That's all.
It's
all right. It's maybe not a real bug. Who knows?
It's a comedy insect. Usually when you get pelted by insects, it's by lots of them. That's so you hit a lot of grasshoppers.
Isn't that in Dumb and Dumber?
Oh, it gets it on the teeth. Oh.
Again, just a joke that's done better 15 years before, 10 years before. I don't know. If
you think about the stuff that happens in Dumb and Dumber, it's gross. The Farrelly brothers were gross, but when they were making jokes back then, they were funny jokes.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
Because it was disgusting.
Unlike these people.
And they do the bird in that one too, right? Don't they kill a bird?
Because that's somebody dies in that situation, Dan. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Here's the probably the worst scene of the movie. They pull off, and there's this waterfall, and then there's this lakey pond that some teamsters had to make in this field so that they could shoot this thing. It's not a real place. Not a real thing.
It's a man-made lake pond thing.
So they're like, let's go swimming. And they all get in except William H. Macy. And then William H. Macy takes off all his clothes and then jumps in. And then they're all like, we kept our drawers on, William H. Macy. Why do you have to go and do a thing like that? And then through like this weird shame, they all take off their underwear, and they don't just take it off, they take it and they throw it as far as they can.
Yeah. Who's the last one to do it, Dan? Do you remember?
John Travolta.
Did you write this down?
And I wrote it on his line. I will get naked with my gay friends.
What's the second part of the line?
Oh, I don't know. I
you
just
didn't write down
that.
the second part?
No,
it's the most problematic thing ever written, ever.
It's worse.
Maybe I'm being a bit dramatic, but it's really bad. So he says, I'll get naked with my gay friends, and if one of them looks at my junk, I will kill them. Kill them, Dan. That's what he says. If one of them looks at my junk, I will murder them. Dude, first of all, no one's looking at your junk. You're not that good looking. Second of all, if someone looks at your junk, you're going to kill them? That's problematic because you can't kill people like that. That's bad. It's very bad.
Have any of these people been to a gym? You know?
Right. Yeah, eyes up. This is how I go into the gym. Eyes up. Eyes up. You can't look down. Can't look down. It's horrible. It's a horrible line. It's very... this movie's bad. It's offensive. It's offensively bad.
What happens? A family shows up, 2 young boys, a dad, a mom, and a young not even teenage girl, probably like an 11-year-old girl. And you're just like, okay, this is really weird now.
So you can only have sons. You cannot have a daughter in this scene. You just can't do it. But the idea of this scene, funny to me. How we got there, not funny. But a family like the dad trying when he swims up to John Travolta, that's a funny moment to me if you do that right.
Yeah, if you were making a real movie and you didn't start off with a bunch of weird homophobia.
Right. If it wasn't all about we're not gay, we're not gay, we're not gay, then this scene could be funny just because, you're skinny dipping. That can be funny thing. Yes.
You're skinny dipping, and it's embarrassing that a family shows up.
Exactly. The joke is we're skinny dipping where we probably shouldn't be, and an innocent family comes up, and we don't know what to do. That's the joke. Why are you putting all this weird aggression on it? I don't get it.
Well, and the guy swims up, and why did I write dude finds John Travolta's crawfish? What did they say? They said there's crawfish in here. Don't swim around. The guy swims right up to John Travolta and basically finds his crawfish.
What's confusing, Dan, is that this guy dove under to look because he got excited. They said crawfish. So he's like, I'm going to find some crawfish. So his eyes are open underwater, right? You can't look for crawfish underwater with your eyes closed. So he doesn't need to swim into the penis. You don't have to do it. The joke is he goes underwater, then just comes back up with a weird look on his face and then tells everyone to leave.
Well, and he starts screaming at the family, get out of the water, which he should have just come out and been like, honey.
Very calm.
We're leaving.
We got to go.
And that's the whole thing is this movie, you have bad direction and you have terrible script. And when those two things come together.
And you have John Travolta overacting. There's 3 things that are really fighting this. Sorry, John.
It just gets really problematic.
Yeah, it's bad. And what I hate, I like John Travolta's line there, which is when he's looking at the dad and he goes, I didn't want to do this. Again, that would be funny if it wasn't about homophobia. If he just didn't want to, he's like, I don't want to get naked because maybe he's got body issues or something. Make it personal to him why he doesn't want to do it. And then he gets caught and that's funny.
If he made it personal about his body issues, I would immediately I would be in that empathetic You're just like,
100%.
it's your body. You don't, if you don't work
mess
out.
these jokes up, Dan. These jokes are like they're soft serve ice cream. They're right there.
Because they wrote this thing on a napkin. And then the weird highway patrol guy shows up, and he's completely naked, and they
fit.
They somehow they run away and put their clothes on and escape for him.
And he doesn't move.
He's doing Marco Polo, and you're just like,
which again is a funny moment because Dudley does polo, which I thought was funny. Yeah. Everyone else runs, and he's just like, polo. That's fun. Like that's funny.
And that William H. Macy understood that that's what the joke was, because that's a joke.
Right. It's not homophobia. Funny. It's just fun. Yeah, it's just like his
character's going to play the game, even though it's weird.
Even though you probably shouldn't be playing the game. No, I don't know. It's unfortunate, and not that this is the only thing wrong with the movie. The movie's not good, but nothing. I don't find many other things problematic. It's just like there's a running theme of homophobia, and they hit it pretty hard,
very hard. Back on the road, we have another song. We see them having to stop a lot because they have to pee a lot. Martin Lawrence.
Is this the part where they use someone else's RV?
Martin Lawrence comes out of somebody else's RV and says, "Sorry about the stench."
So what you're telling me is that 4 bikers driving down the road got an RV to pull over and then asked to use their restroom to drop a deuce, and the family's like, "Yeah, come on in and ruin our bathroom." That's not going to happen.
In a world of gas stations, and just do the gas station joke. Let's see that gas station bathroom. We can do some plumber jokes. Do
you remember No Holds Barred, the bathroom?
That's like my favorite thing we've ever done on the show.
I know.
That's the video we get the most views on. Also,
is it? Wow,
that's the one. Yeah, that's the one that does well.
And are you sure it's not just you watching it and a bunch of different IP addresses?
I also do watch it a lot. No, it was in No Holds Barred, the Hulk Hogan movie. They are in this terrible bar and they go in the bathroom, and it is disgusting.
Vile.
It is the most disgusting thing ever, and it's like one of the things in this show that I laughed at the most because it was freaking. And the best thing of all, there's a pit bull chain in the back of the bathroom, which I'm just like, the person who wrote this wrote that movie, encountered that situation at some point in their life.
Thing that happened. He's like, well, I got to put that in a movie. I don't know.
Pit bull chained up in a bathroom. It's so horrifying.
Yeah, it
would be hard to concentrate.
That was a good movie. Let me say that. Go watch No Holds Barred again, everybody.
There were some weird things in there.
Oh man, this movie's terrible.
Boom! Now we've arrived in New Mexico. They find the real biker bar. They walk in, and you have the music stops when they walk in, and everybody looks at them because of why?
I guess because they're older, softer. I don't know.
Boom! We've finally gotten to the point where we're going to establish who the bad guy is, who we could have had them meet earlier. Which would have made sense.
You should have. You absolutely should have, because so far we're just meandering through this movie. This is 45 minutes of nothing. It doesn't even set up because it doesn't build to this scene. It's
you could have had them all past them because they're going the speed limit, and everyone could have flipped them off, and we'd have seen who the wild hogs are. That they're we could have set something up very easily that makes them.
Set something up for later? What are you, crazy?
So, boom, talk about the head of the Del Fuegos, which is a band. I know a band named the Del Fuegos. I don't understand why there is a gang named after a band.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't know it was a band, and I don't believe it's a gang. So, I don't know. But their fearless leader is the one and only Ray Liotta. I love him so much, Dan.
He is missed, and he is so good.
He's so good. Here's the thing. They walk into the bar, and it's just a shot of Ray seeing them. He doesn't say anything, and I'm immediately like, fuck, this guy is an actor. He's got a presence, and I miss it. He's so good. He's so intense. Oh my God, this guy is just effortlessly badass. It's amazing. He's way too good for this movie.
And this movie wastes his skills.
Well, it wastes everybody. But I mean, he's so cool. He's the coolest of the cool.
And then John Travolta tries to act tough, and there's words. I didn't even write anything that happened inside the bar down. I didn't write any of it down because it was all just dumb.
I don't know if I wrote anything down because I was pretty much over the movie by this point. But I mean, basically, they come over to intimidate the Wild Hogs. Tim Allen tries to defuse the situation with, oh yeah, we're losers, or and he's kind of,
yeah.
But John Travolta's just staring at them and squinting. Is that what's happening?
I don't know. It doesn't do anything. It's like a whole lot of nothing.
Who thought this was funny? I don't understand how you could film it and still think you should put it in the movie. Just cut him out of the scene. Just don't go to him. You know what I mean?
He's the leader.
In the editing. Listen,
just do the Tim Allen part. That's good enough. It's bad, but it's good enough.
But at least it sets up the relationship between the two gangs, right?
Yeah.
The Travolta thing doesn't do anything, and it's also not funny. So you cut it. You just cut it. All right? You just cut it. That's it.
So Ray Liotta's punishment for them is that he's going to trade bikes with William H. Macy's character, who they'd seen his bike outside, so they go outside, and he's all like, oh, this is a great trade. And then Ray Liotta's like, no, you're getting this one. They go to the side, and there's just this bike that has no wheels. It's like,
just the body of it.
That's our trade. And they just sort of say yes, and so then they somehow put a sidecar onto a bike that didn't have a sidecar in 3 minutes, and
that thing is literally just duct taped. There's no way that they soldered it. They didn't do anything. They just duct taped that thing on. I like the visual gag of William H. Macy in the sidecar.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So the payoff's okay. The setup's not great, but the payoff's okay. But then we just ditch it immediately. 8 seconds later, they've somehow, I'm telling you, it's duct tape, because they also just attach it on the side of the road.
Yeah, well, we're not there yet. So they drive a little ways away, and then John Travolta's like, this is bullshit, let's go back. And they're all like, no. And then he's like, I'm going back, screw you, Doug.
Yeah.
And then he walks back. And you're all like, why is he walking back? I don't understand this.
Because the motorcycle's too loud. He's got to sneak up.
Yeah. So he goes back, cuts everybody's fuel lines, and then takes Dudley's motorcycle back to him. And then he comes back to them, and then he tells them a fake story where he said, we're going to get lawyers and sue you, and then they all were afraid of me.
Now, here's a real question.
Yeah?
That story isn't cooler than going and cutting their fuel lines and stealing the bike.
It's lame.
Why would you lie and tell a lame, like, oh yeah, I just talked to him. I just talked to him, and they were like, cool, man. No, I fucking sabotaged these bastards, and I stole the bike back because I'm a man. I don't understand it.
Wouldn't that have been a more interesting movie of them on the run from these guys now?
1,000,000%. I'm very confused by
You
this.
did what? He's like, yeah, now we're outlaws. They're like,
right, yeah,
what the
that's
fuck?
great.
You just made us into outlaws for the rest of our life? What have you done to us?
And then we gotta go. We gotta get on our bikes and we gotta leave right now.
But
and then they blow up the bar. I don't know.
But instead, the stakes are 3 of the guys don't know what's going on, and then the other guy is afraid that they're going to find, and the other guy's afraid, not even afraid that they're going to find out, but has to kind of keep the lie alive, sort of. So there's really no stakes.
No, not at all. How soon did you know they were going to blow up the bar? Was it immediately? As soon as he starts cutting them?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you knew that.
Yeah, as soon as they started cutting, they cut to the ground and it like filling up. I was like, oh, well, they're gonna blow it up. That's what's good. They're gonna blow up the bar right now.
Yeah, well, they
I thought people were gonna be in it though. Lots of death and carnage. That'd have been cool.
So then they have to ride back past the bar, which I don't understand how that works.
Well, because they were supposed to be going that direction, and then they were going to turn around and go home once they lost to those guys. But now that they're victorious, they're going to continue on their road trip and go to California or something like that.
So they ride past them, and then sort of the second in command makes Ray Liotta's character makes a comment, then this guy makes a comment like about wanting to have like their balls in his mouth.
Yeah, he said he was going to put their balls in his mouth and chew them up or something like that. Because, gay jokes.
And then Ray Liotta gets mad at him for saying a
punches
comment
him
like that
face.
and punches him in the face.
Because that's what you do with people that are gay.
Because we had another line earlier where he intimated that possibly he was a repressed gay person.
Yes.
And so now we've had to punch him because...
Yeah, dude, this movie is out of control.
It's weird.
It is weird. It's so weird. It has nothing to do with the movie.
So John Travolta, Ray Liotta is smoking. He drops a cigarette in the cut fuel lines, even though he would have seen all those cut fuel lines and would have taken that into account.
Well,
he's not an idiot.
You would think so, because you would have to step in it to even get on the bike.
Well, and they would have seen that their bikes weren't working because the fuel lines were cut, because that's how they would know that, and that's why they would all stop smoking. And making him do it, it should have been one of the other guys. He's, that's really stupid.
One of his dummy guys.
Don't put that seat on. Make him a leader, but no, because he's supposed to not be a leader. That's so weird.
Yeah, it's not a good movie.
John Travolta freaks out when the place blows up because they don't all hear the explosion and can't all look in their mirrors. The only
one that notices a building blows up behind them. Not sure I believe that.
And so he freaks out.
But I do like it's literally the only time I appreciate John Travolta's acting in the movie, because it's understated. He's looking in the mirror and then he goes forward and he goes, "Oh God." Great. Nice, understated, very funny. And then later, 10 seconds later, he's like freaking out and having a panic attack, and then it's all over.
Yeah, because they're trying to stop for gas, and he's like, "No, man, we gotta go. We gotta go. I
want to ride. Let's go. I want to ride." He keeps doing the ride thing. Oh, man.
And I mean, at a certain point, Tim Allen's character like calls him out on how weird he's being, and it's almost like he's calling him out on his acting a little bit. Like, what is wrong with you? Everyone's kind of like,
we've all talked about it, and we need you to tone it down, John. Oh, God.
And so they don't get gas, and so, of course, they run out of gas, and then they have to push their motorcycles, and we get a nice vulture joke, and then they're going to eat Dudley. Okay. That's a decent joke.
I liked it because they kept saying they were going to kill him. I liked it. It's funny. Like, I don't remember who said it first, but someone's on the bike, and Dudley makes like a little joke. And he just gets off the bike. He's like, "I'm going to kill him." I was like, it's funny. It's funny.
And then they reach Madrid, which I think is in Arizona. And their gas station is closed until the next day, which
it's closed on Sundays. Makes
no sense.
I've never been to Madrid, so I don't know. Okay. Could be real. You don't know. So
they go to the diner because the diner is open. And then they have this whole weird, them being thirsty and acting weird.
God, what a horrible joke. They burst into this establishment and just start stealing people's drinks off their tables. And then one of them hops over the bar and grabs the bar squirter and starts squirting his mouth. And then John Travolta's like, "Me, me, me." And then they squirt him and then me. What's happening? These people they're criminals now. They're horrible. These are the worst people on the planet.
And who's in this bar that they're going to have to eventually impress and bring over to their side?
Marissa Tomei?
Yeah.
That was it.
Another person who is just a better actress and just like so appealing, and you go, somehow they're going to get her to be with Dudley. You immediately think that, and you're just like, please, this.
Let me be 100%. Until they started doing that weird romantic journey, which I disagree with. I thought for sure she was going to be with Ray Liotta. I thought that was going to be kind of the twist, but then, obviously it wasn't at all. But I was like, those two need to be together. That's what needs to be together in this movie.
That would make sense.
That
would be interesting.
She's wonderful.
Has she done anything bad ever?
I would say probably, but I haven't seen it.
Never seen it.
But I haven't seen a lot of things. Who is the sheriff? What do you know his name? I keep trying to think of his name because he's a known actor, and I just can't remember his name. I feel bad about it, but I like him a lot. He's very funny.
Yeah, there's a sheriff, the character actor, and then those two New Yorkie brothers, twins.
The twins,
who are very funny, but not in this movie.
Yeah, no, they're great, and like Entourage, they're wonderful. I don't know if you've ever seen that. They're so good in that.
I saw Entourage. Don't remember what they played.
I don't hate and it's offensive, I'm sure, but the jokes that the twins make about one of them not being able to hear out of his right side, so the guy always says horrible things on his right side. That's a funny bit to me.
I missed the first line, so when they did it later, I didn't get it.
That's fair. They set it up because he's like, yeah, he can't hear his right ear, so I always stand over here so I can talk shit about him. That's funny. The jokes weren't funny.
Yeah.
Which was my problem. They weren't good jokes. If they were good jokes, that's a very funny bit to me.
Yeah.
But they, as with most things in this movie, they really messed up.
So there's a chili festival, and
Stephen Tobolowsky. That is the sheriff's name. I looked it up. I couldn't remember. I feel bad.
Never heard his name before.
I was in a movie with him, so
we
didn't have any scenes together. He doesn't know who I am. Not that the people I did have scenes with know who I am either. Lacey Chabert, no idea who I am. I'll tell you that right now. I had multiple scenes with her. Corbin
Burnson, your best friend.
He directed me, cut me out of most of his movie. No idea who I am. Guaranteed. If I ran into him again, he would have no idea who I am.
Well, yeah.
He yelled at me. Oh, boy, did he yell at me one day on set. We were doing, just a quick little story about me getting yelled at on set. We were doing a scene in a church, and it was a group scene. So the whole family was there. There was like 10 actors in this scene. I'm in the back because no one gives a shit about me. Camera's over here, and I do my line, in the scene. And he's like, cut, Tony, get in the fucking camera. And I was like, what? He's like, find a window. He's just screaming at me to find a window. It was one of my favorite days ever. I found a window later, and then he cut it out anyhow. So, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, a note for actors. If you have a line in a scene, find a window. Make sure you can see the camera so the camera can see you.
Don't just shout it from the back of the room. That's not what they were looking for.
Don't just say it behind people. I guess it's weird. I don't
know. There's a chili festival. They go to the chili festival, and then we let Kyle Gass do like 6 or 7 songs.
What's happening? Why is this a thing? I'm okay with 1 or 2. You know what I mean? He's at a festival. This guy performs from when it's light out to when it's the dead of night. He performs 3-4 hours maybe at this thing. What's happening? This is also, I love the guy. This is terrible.
There's not a joke. There's not a reason. It's not funny. No one comments on it. None of the characters see him do this. We just see him sing and sing and sing and sing and sing and sing.
I don't even know what to comment on it because I don't understand what's happening.
We do a whole thing.
But I love Tenacious D. Let me be clear.
Yeah.
D is great.
I watch those videos all the time. There's a whole thing with throwing a milk bottle into bottles that bounces back and hits Tim Allen's character in the balls.
Dan, what's going on here? So I don't remember what his nickname is.
We have to talk about this?
We have to just for a minute because the joke is is there, he's good at baseball, right?
No,
I mean,
he says he was incredible at baseball.
Exactly.
And then he goes on to show that he's terrible at baseball, and we do not understand if he's lying,
right,
or he's lost it. We don't know because there are no contextual clues as to what the situation is.
So how is this a joke in the movie?
I don't know.
Doesn't make sense, people. I don't understand.
Once the Simpsons do Greatest Home Videos, Football to the Groin, you gotta be really careful with your what? Oh, they did that.
I don't know what that is, but it made me laugh, not even knowing what it is.
Early on in The Simpsons, probably in the first or second season, they Homer takes football to the groin, and then it goes on America's Home Videos, and then maybe they don't win the prize, but I think they go to the thing.
But it's in, okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
You have that, and then you have the Peyton Manning Saturday Night Live, where he's out there playing with the kids, and he's fucking nailing those kids as hard as possible. It's like you're competing with two of the greatest jokes like that. You better know where you're going if you're gonna enter that arena. You better have something with, or you're just gonna be like
nothing.
They have nothing.
It's such a mishmash.
It's like, wait, this whole thing about him not being able to play baseball is ending up with a random baseball hitting Tim Allen's character in the nuts. Like, I don't even understand. What does that have to do with anything?
Nothing at all.
If he missed one, and then Tim Allen's like, you couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, and then he goes, can I? And he bounces it off there, and it goes back there and hits Tim Allen in the balls. He's like, can't I hit what I'm aiming for?
I love that.
I've rewritten their stupid movie. Did I pull a Tony and spend 10 hours and figure out this joke could be ready?
10 hours? Hold on, people. I don't spend 10 hours. Okay, it's at most 6. That's at most.
We can rewrite the jokes in this movie on the fly. Put us on the set. Let's just rewrite your stupid jokes and make them funny.
Unless it's Netflix, because I want residuals. So get out of here, Netflix.
Then Dudley goes over to Marissa Tomei's booth, can't talk to her. She gives him hot chili. He runs away.
Is chili green?
You can have green chili, I think. I don't know.
You can?
I guess. I don't know. I've never seen green chili.
I don't feel like I have either. I don't know the answer. It just surprised me. I just feel like if you're doing a chili, you would make it look like what most people think chili looks like. But that's just me, I guess.
Maybe the filmmakers have their own special chili recipe, and they wanted
to... maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe I'm the ignorant a-hole here, and there's green chili all over the place. I don't know.
Maybe the hottest chilies are green. I've never seen a green chili. I mean, it wasn't just green. It was like
green.
Like light fluorescent green.
Like sick mucus, not to get gross, but how when you're getting better and you blow your nose, it's like a bright greenish ooze. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, like a green salsa. Where it's
okay, or we could go that way. There's a green salsa. Yeah, it looks like a tomatillo. Is that what it's called?
Green tomatillo salsa. That's what it looked like as chili. So I guess you could pour some.
I don't know. It was weird. I was just taken aback.
Aren't beans always going to be like tan or white?
Unless you, I would
green
think
food
so, Dan. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Now we take time to have a scene where they go to a place where there's a bull. Except Mitch Macy doesn't go with them. They don't look for him, and they don't try and bring him with them. And then the sheriff and the 2 deputies are like, this is where we slap at a bull. And you run up and you slap a bull. And then the second time, so John Travolta does it. And he's like, that's exhilarating. And then Tim Allen goes to do it. And then they're like, after he leaves, they're like, oh, nobody's ever done this the second time after the bull has been alerted.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
I laughed pretty hard. It's like, we've never seen someone do it. Now, it'll be interesting to see how the bull reacts now that he's alert. I laughed. I thought that was a very funny joke.
It's a good line. It's a good
line. And then they decide to just bury it in mounds of dirt and shit because the scene that follows is garbage. All 3 men dead. Once again, we should be doing a death toll of this movie. Tim Allen gets bucked. What do you call it when a bull hits you with its front horn thing?
Could be bucked.
I don't know if it's, would it be bucked? I don't know. He gets launched a good 25, 30 feet in the air and lands and his spine crumples and he's dead. And then Martin Lawrence, same thing, just a couple of minutes later. They do the same joke twice. First of all, not great. It's just, guys, what are we doing here?
And what does this have to do with the movie?
It has nothing to do with the movie. And not even a little bit. Absolutely nothing.
Now it's nighttime. Kyle Gass still singing.
Which is movie time. It's 15 minutes, 20 minutes later almost. Wouldn't you say? Like, this guy is performing a marathon set. This is Taylor Swift coming to Los Angeles and doing a 4-hour concert.
It's a 4-hour concert. Dudley can't dance, and Marissa Tomei has invited him to the dance. He says that...
Sort of, but she also isn't, like, there waiting for him.
It was off screen. It was off screen. She's invited him.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's very weird. And then he says
if you want to build a romantic connection, I should see the moment where she asks him to dance and he gets nervous. I'm just saying I should probably see that.
Hey, I just rewrote the whole movie again. He says a line. He says a line that if you say this line, you have to pay off this line. I'm an ugly dancer.
It's a very funny line to me. He says, the music moves me, but it moves me ugly. Great line. And he delivers it so well. I mean, again, William H. Macy in this movie doing his absolute best. He is doing it.
And just like, when you talk about the gun in the play, you put the gun on the table in the play.
Yep.
Somebody's got to get shot. You can't say you dance ugly, and then
just decide not to deal with it.
And so John Travolta has to teach him how to dance. And so they start dancing. They dance too close. And John Travolta thinks that he feels William H. Macy's boner. And as he runs away, William H. Macy it's just a pocket knife.
Yeah. Dumb joke. Just another shitty joke about how homophobic John Travolta is in this movie. I shouldn't say John Travolta. I should say whatever his character's name is, which, by the way, don't remember it. I remember Doug, and I remember Dudley.
His name is Woody.
It's a dumb name. No wonder I don't remember it. That's a stupid name.
Terrible name for the character. Should not be the character. He should actually have a cool name.
Also, what does he do? What did he do? How did he get rich?
He has money.
No, that's not a job.
It can be.
I wish I would do that job. If someone wants to hire me to have money, just let me know. I am open and available.
Oh, so terrible. Tony, if I was to have like this big dance with Marissa Tomei, could you teach me to dance in like 1 to 3 minutes?
Not only could I not do that, but then you wouldn't be able to then take that, do it, and then also expand upon it. Because he's doing moves that John Travolta did not just show him. So I don't know what kind of learning curve William H. Macy's character is on, but he learned more than was even taught in an impossible amount of time.
He starts dancing, and then something happens to throw him off, and then he just gets back in it and starts the greatest dancing ever.
He loses her hand, and she, like, knocks people over, right?
He pushes her, and she knocks people over.
Is that what he pushes her? Yeah. And then they're just like, oh, haha, funny. Let's go back to it. So I don't understand.
Here's my rewriting of the movie.
Okay, yeah, talk to me.
She's an even uglier dancer.
Yes, of course. Of course.
And
I feel like that's in a movie somewhere.
Connect.
Yeah. Of course, because they have nothing in common.
They have nothing in common.
They have absolutely no. There's no reason that she would like him.
There's
none whatsoever.
She's like, you're genuine and sweet. Like, there's no guys out in the world that are genuine and sweet. You're like, huh?
Listen, I'll agree. Men are terrible, but he hasn't shown you that he is. He hasn't even spoken to you for most of the movie. He's incapable of talking to you. So when is he this genuine great guy? I don't like it, Dan.
He hasn't observed something about her. He hasn't taken some initiative that's interesting. He hasn't brought her flowers. He hasn't connected with her in any way, shape, or form.
None at all.
Let me rephrase that. His character hasn't.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Poor Will.
Okay, then the Delph. Oh, and here's the one joke. This was the funny thing. He's like looking at her or something, and he takes his glasses like this, and he unclicks them. They're the ones that click in the center, and then he puts them down here. I was like,
that's a great prop gag, guys. Great.
It is a beautiful, and he executes it. He does it again later in the movie where it's not executed as well, but this one, you are surprised, and you're just like, it speaks to who his character is. He understands who this character is and is trying to get there wherever he can.
I'm going to throw out a theory here, Dan.
He wrote that?
That's his prop. I think that was his decision. I think he said, hey, prop department, I need the glasses that clip like this because that's my fucking character. I don't think this movie's smart enough to make that joke without him.
Nope.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I completely agree. And when we get him on the show, we're going to ask him about that joke.
Here's the bad news, Dan. We're never getting him on the show because not that he would remember me, but we did not have a great meeting.
What?
He came to I work at Yahoo. He came to Yahoo to do an interview, which I shot.
Oh, no.
I shot it, and then I deleted it. So we had to call him and tell him that we didn't get any of the footage, and we're just going to turn it into a written article because we still have the audio. So if he remembers me at all, he's not coming on the show. Just
so two of the Del Fuegos show up, and then they steal somebody's cell phone and they call Jack, and Jack is like, "Oh, that's Ray Liotta's character name, Jack. Let's have some great names in this. Bobby, Woody, Jack.
Ah,
Jesus.
Oh boy.
And then Bobby comes over there, Martin Lawrence, and he's all like, because he's energized because he thinks that they're going to be afraid because he's going to bring up the lawsuit again. Although it doesn't seem like there's any lawsuit because they got their bike back and it doesn't seem like they have any power over them at this point.
Makes any sense. Yep.
And so then he pours beer on them and then squirts them with mustard and ketchup. And
now,
then
Dan,
kicks one of the guys in the balls.
In the nuts. Let me ask you a question, Dan. Let's say that you were mean and I was like, hey, I'm going to sue you. So there's litigation that's about to happen. That's the power I have over you. And then I assault you. Guess what? I'm going to lose that litigation now. I have just totally ruined the only power I had over you because I physically assaulted you.
Yeah.
It's very dumb. This is very dumb. Also, not funny. When he's doing this weird catch-up bit, it's not funny. It's not funny.
It's stupid because more importantly, you've already set up that nothing's going to happen to him.
Yes.
Right? So there is no jeopardy in the situation. It's like he's doing that to a rock. Oh, he's doing a thing to a rock. Well, what's the rock going to do? Rock can't do anything because it's a rock.
It's a rock.
Then we have a beer party, and Dudley and Marissa Tomei have their heart-to-heart where he says, I'm not cool, I work on computers. And, of course, she kisses him because he said that he's not cool.
Dude, if that's all it took, you know what I mean? I guess, we don't have to talk about it. I just don't, his character, this moment doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter.
The next morning, John Travolta's like, we gotta ride, we gotta get out of here, what's happening? No, Jeopardy! And they're all like, we don't want to ride.
I forgot you do a Travolta.
Hey,
Surprises me
hey guys,
time,
boys and girls, we gotta get out of here, Mr. Carter. They're coming, but I'm not saying that because I can't say things.
Yeah, and he's so manic. He's acting so hard, Dan.
And so then he has to confess.
Does he confess?
Yeah, he confesses. This is the point at which he has to. Yeah, because.
Boy, wow.
I don't remember anything about it. The bad guys take over the diner, which is in the middle of town, and then they say, come out, wherever you are. And they can hear them because they're yelling, and it's so quiet because there are no vehicles in this town because the gas station is closed. The sheriff runs away from the diner, and they have to hide. And then Dudley's like,
yeah, so they go and they hide in Marissa Tomei's.
But they don't let
place,
John
right?
Travolta in there. He's somewhere else.
Oh, right.
That we don't even know.
He confesses. I got it. We got to talk about real quick. I know that we're running long today. I apologize, everybody. Tim Allen, after John Travolta tells him what happened.
Our show's going to be longer than the movie. We might pull off our show being longer than the movie. Because Tony had to talk about all the A-list actors and stars who hate him.
Oh, my best friend. Everybody that hates me in Hollywood.
And
if we did everybody, the show would be extremely long.
And I have to talk about my love of butter and sour cream, baby.
I don't get it, Dan. I'm going to try to eat some butter later just to see what's going on. But I don't.
Do you want me to go get? It has to be butter, not margarine. Good, but
is it? You like salted? You don't like the unsalted butter, right?
Salt.
Of course. I don't know why. That's a stupid question on my part.
We get the butter with canola oil. Oh.
And does that make it saltier?
Sure. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know butter. I don't know my butter, okay?
When I was a kid, occasionally for like Thanksgiving, we would get, the cubes of butter, even though they aren't cubes, the sticks of butter. The challenge sticks of butter,
Yep, I sure do. That's what I put in my Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Oh. I use both butter. Like when I make it, so we buy like the Kraft macaroni and cheese, right? Then
right.
I use sour cream and butter. Then I
add in what it says to do on the box, Dan.
Then I add in a little bit of cheddar cheese. A little bit of...
You add cheese?
Of course you add cheese to macaroni and cheese.
It doesn't say this on the box. I follow the instructions, Dan. Jesus. That's all I know how to do.
Tony, expand your thinking.
No, I get directions and I follow them. That's why I chose to be an actor, Dan. People tell me what to do and I do it.
Cheddar cheese, goat cheese, maybe even a little Parmesan cheese.
Do you also use the cheese packet?
Of course,
still?
I use it. When I make,
feels like a lot of cheese. I don't know.
If I was, this is the thing. So here I am. I'm sitting home alone. I'm making myself just my own meal, right? My own macaroni and cheese meal. I take the box of macaroni and cheese, and you know what I do first? I pour out a third of the noodles into the trash.
Okay, first of all, let's just as a juxtaposition, you know what I do? I pull out a second box and then I pour both noodles into the bowl. I'll tell you that right now because I need 2 boxes of Kraft to make it a meal. But continue, mister. I throw out 8 of my 24 shells.
How big is that bowl of macaroni and cheese, Tony?
I mean, it's a
you
bowl.
You put like a whole stick of butter in there?
The half. You put half, I'm pretty sure. Because I think each one is a quarter. So I think it's half a stick of butter.
And you put milk in too, right?
Yeah, I put milk, not sour cream.
Sour cream.
Nut job. Maybe I'll try it sometime.
So if you pour out half the noodles, it's cheesier.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I don't know, Dan. I don't know. I don't know if I could do this.
Like most of these people, they go out there and they're like, I want the hottest thing. I want the cheesiest thing.
I like cheese as well. So I'm on board with that. I'm questioning the sour cream because the taste feels off. I mean, I'm also questioning goat cheese. Dan, I don't like what you're doing.
Do you eat goat cheese?
I've had it in like a salad.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I don't think I've ever put it in a pasta.
This is what live your life a little. Buy some goat cheese at the Trader Joe's.
Okay, yeah, TJ's.
Buy some goat cheese. Put that on your eggs. Try that on your eggs.
I do like eggs.
If you like eggs, put a little goat cheese on there. See what happens. And you're gonna be like, Dan Goodsell, he knows what he's talking. He cuisine de Dan.
This guy's culture in me. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Anyhow, back to this movie real quick. So when John Travolta confesses, Tim Allen starts yelling at him, and he's like, "We're in this mess because you're running away from your, quote, miserable, screwed up life." Isn't that what they're all doing? The beginning of this movie was showing us that all of their lives were miserable and screwed up. That's why they went on the trip. Why is he saying that it's different?
Hold on a second. Do they believe that his life is screwed up? Because they don't know that he's broken. They don't know that he's getting divorced at this point.
Well, that's what he tells them.
He tells them that too? Or does he tell them that later? So he does tell everything. No. Okay.
Yeah, he says everything. And that's why they don't allow him in the house. Because he's effing it up. I don't. It's stupid. That's all I'm going to say. Is that Tim Allen yells at them for doing exactly what they're all doing. This movie's not written well. Let's wrap it up. I'm sorry. Bring her home, Dan.
Dudley goes in there to fight for the rights, takes a tire iron, immediately walks inside, loses the tire iron, and breaks the door.
This is one of your laughs?
No, but it's funny.
Oh, I laughed pretty hard because
it is funny. He
turns around, he's like, "It slipped out of my glove." He's so... William H. Macy, I love you. I know we've got a sordid past, but I love you, man.
So they grab him, and then they set up that for them to leave, they have to be given $50,000 within a half an hour. You're just like,
why?
These are the stakes. These are the stakes we're establishing at this point.
We got 8 minutes left on the runtime. What's happening right now?
Maybe just
setting up a whole new thing.
Give us all your bikes. Maybe that's a thing that can be resolved instantaneously.
Love
that. And then we set up the highway patrol is going to be here in 2 hours. Okay, that's another arbitrary. It's like I'm all for arbitrary time periods to set up tension.
You love them.
But these ones are so flagrantly
because they don't add to the tension, and we don't actually pay attention to. That's the thing. Nope. We were like, okay, we've got a 2 hour clock. We got to do this plan here in 2 hours.
This happens.
We're just like
this
2
happens.
hours.
This happens.
Okay, well, we'll just walk outside. How does that sound to everybody? We're going to walk outside. Try that. It's ridiculous.
And then there's this whole thing. So then Tim Allen comes up with a plan, and then there's something about they have to yell, "It's a golden night." That ties to something earlier in the movie that I did not even write down or remember.
So in the bar, at the very beginning, when they're in the bar, the first meeting in the bar of the first meeting, they talk about how Tim Allen used to be exciting, and they used to call him the Golden Knight. And then he makes the joke. He's like, well, that guy was high all the time. Which is it's a fine joke.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
That was like his nickname in college because he was so adventurous and cool. I don't know if they gave a real reason.
What is
Don't come at me, Dan. I didn't write the joke.
Like I don't even and when it gets to this, you're just like, what is he talking about?
I don't know. When it happened, I was like, oh yeah, because that's what they called him in college or something. So I understood the reference, but it doesn't make it better.
If you're gonna do something, if you're gonna mention something in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then bring it back an hour later, you have to have been like having them make fun of him as here comes the Golden Knight. He's got a flat tire. Where's your horse? Where's your Lance Golden Knight? Got to make some jokes about it.
Yeah, no, we're just going to mention it once and then bring it back to really drive it home.
We have faith that the audience is going to like this setup where we talk about the thing and then he runs. No.
Yeah, no, it's a bad move. It's a bad move.
So he's Tim Allen. So then here comes Tim Allen. Dudley's hung up in the center. Tim Allen's going to reach up and grab him, and he's calculated what it's going to take to
rip the duct tape.
Tie the duct tape. He stands on his bike, he grabs him, and then the bike just goes, and then the two of them are just swinging there. This was my other big laugh of the movie.
Okay, I laughed real hard. And then it breaks. They're hanging on it, and then it breaks.
It's like
great.
The timing was great. Tim Allen was very funny hanging there.
Yeah.
William H. Macy was funny, and that was a place.
Yeah, listen, everyone gets one, right? That's what they say.
And then, boom, they come out there, and everyone else comes, and then we're going to do a 4-on-4 fight, and then there's a big guy, and then an Asian kung fu guy, and then there's a whole fight, and then they're going to burn down the diner, and then he calls Tim Allen pathetic, and they beat them all down, And then the
Yep.
people rise up, and I was like, oh, that's what this is about. The people are going to rise up. And then Peter Fonda shows up and tells them to stop because he's Ray Liotta's dad and
Yep.
has something to do with Marissa Tomei. Like maybe they used to date.
Well, so I got super confused. Like, I got really confused because then he makes a joke about Ray Liotta. He's like, just like his mother. And I was like, wait, is his mother Marissa Tomei? What's happening? Wait, hold on a second. Obviously not, because they're the same age. I don't understand any of this because he says hi just to her.
Did he date her?
He had to have, right?
I don't know.
Because out of all of the people, he's walking by and he's like, hey, Maggie, is that her name, Maggie?
Sure.
Let's call her Maggie.
I think
he's like, hey, Maggie. And she, hi. As if there's a thing there.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say hi to any other person.
No.
So they have some sort of relationship. And then he goes talk to Ray, and Ray's like, okay, Pop, we'll leave for no reason whatsoever. And then he says, just like his mother, who we either have never met or it's somehow Marissa Tomei. I'm just saying.
It's so weird.
It doesn't make any sense. They drove themselves into a wall, and they're like, we don't know how to end this movie because they're going to lose this fight, so something else needs to happen.
So it's just Peter Fonda, and then so he owned the bar that they burned down, and then I guess so. He says it was he says it was insured for twice the amount, so he made money on it.
That's what he says. That's why he's not mad about them burning the bar down. But then he also is like, that's why I don't ride there anymore because Ray, you're a bitch. Basically, he's like, you don't remember what it's like to really ride, or something. Which they don't really tell me what that means or why he's doing it wrong. Dude, the end of this movie is a mess.
And then his leaving line is "ride hard or stay home."
Or stay home. Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that reference is.
It's the writer thinking that they're coming up with a new "go big or go home" saying. They're like, this is going to catch on, guys. Ride hard or go home. It's good. People are going to love it.
And then the wives show up in a minivan, and Bobby stands up to his wife. The kid respects Tim Allen.
Why does he need to stand up to his wife, Dan?
Because she's a bitch.
Is she the woman who gave him a year off work and supports his family all by herself? She's the bitch. And he's like, baby, you don't even listen to me. Oh, well, I'm a man. Oh, fucking hell, man. Oh, I can't believe they brought that. He's got the most closure in the movie, and it's the worst.
And John Travolta's still going to get divorced, not making his money back. He's
just going home. He's like, all right, cool. That was fun. Thanks, guys. I'm going home.
They said, okay, well, since our wives aren't emasculating us anymore, we can go to the beach. So they go to the beach. They ride on. Oh, and no, wait, hold on. Dudley crashes into watermelons before they can leave. Then they go to the beach. And then they look at all the girls' asses. And then Dudley almost crashes, and then they crash into the world's longest, fakest surfboard.
Yep. Great callback. Wonderful callback. A problematic scene, just because we literally just got done talking to all of their wives, right? And then, William H. Macy's new girlfriend, who's the most attractive person on the planet, right? Yeah. And then they go to the beach, and all of them are just like ogling these women as they drive. They're like, oh, a lot of distractions down here. Oh boy, I'm riding with an erection. That's basically what they're saying. I don't understand. How is this how you decide to wrap up these characters, Dan? It doesn't make any sense.
It's so weird.
They're all the worst people.
It's terrible.
I hate this movie. But
it gets worse.
Said that. I loved the credit.
No.
You didn't like it? Did you used to watch this show? Tell people what it is first, then we'll talk.
America's Home Makeover with the most coked out human being on the planet.
Yeah, Ty. I don't remember his last name. His first name's definitely Ty.
Ty Burrell?
Is that right? Hold on.
Who's Ty Burrell? That's somebody, isn't it?
Pennington. Ty Pennington. That is his name. We used to watch that show all the time. You cry at that show every week. I thought it was a funny bit with Ray Liotta, like getting weirdly emotional because he's a pretty scary human being. I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Ty Burrell's the dad on that show that I hate.
Oh, the family. About the family.
Stupid Family. Stupid Rich Family.
Modern Family.
Modern Stupid Rich Family. Yeah, I hate that show.
Rich, yeah, it could just be called Rich Family. Yeah, that's true. Upper Class Whiny Family. That's the name of this show.
Overprivileged white family. Yeah. That's what I call that show.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great show. That's my kind of show, because that's what I aspire to be.
So I just couldn't take the whole idea that the guys that are horrible through the whole movie get a brand new bar built for them by the Wild Hogs, which you're like, wait, these people are trying to extort you and kill you and burn down the building of the woman you love, and you think they need help and are your friends? No.
Yeah, Dan. Yeah, okay, because we're all one big happy motorcycle families, all right?
No.
I don't know. It made me giggle.
I mean, maybe in a movie that was broad, but this movie's like, it's broad, but it's not broad. It's broad, but it's not broad. It's broad, but it's not broad.
I mean, you're right about that. There's tonally very inconsistent.
Okay. Tony, tell us about something.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up. We are nearing the 2-hour mark.
This might be our longest episode ever. I don't know how this is our longest episode
Wild
ever.
Hogs!
Wild Hogs forever! Tony, tell us about something you liked this week.
I'm going to have to keep this a lot quicker than I thought. We did a double feature last week of The Meg 2, The Trench,
yeah.
And then TMNT, Mutant Mayhem.
Oh, you saw both of them, yeah.
Very mixed emotions from the weekend. The Meg 2, most disappointing movie I've ever seen in my life.
Oh.
Turtles, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, man, is that movie a delight.
Looks amazing.
It's beautiful, and it is so funny. Jackie Chan as Master Splinter is apparently my favorite thing of all time.
Splinter.
And he's so funny, Dan. He's
funny.
So funny.
He's funny.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Period.
See Turtles. Everybody see Turtles. It's brilliant. It's awesome.
Is there a giant octopus in Meg, too?
I mean, kind of. I'd say 22 seconds of screen time.
Does it team up with the Meg?
Nope.
Fights.
Here's my problem, Dan. And I
don't care if you spoil. I don't care.
But other people might. They might see it. And I still want you to see it, whatever. It's two separate movies. The movie you think you're going to see from the trailers, which is 3 Megs and a giant octopus unleashing hell on Earth, that's the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Oh.
There is an hour and 15 minutes before that of fucking nothing. It's bizarre. The last 20 minutes of the movie, awesome. The movie I wanted to see, loved it. Would have been great if, there was at least 30 minutes of it. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
But the octopus doesn't get to do things.
He does 1 or 2 things.
Oh.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I was expecting some monster mashups and it was going to be great.
We started, this has been a good week for us. Only Murders in the Building came back. OMG.
Oh shit! Really?
We watched some more of What We Do in the Shadows. They had They had a call-in episode, which was one of his. I don't even talk about it. So good. And then How To with John Wilson's come back, which is the craziest show. It's a Nathan Fielder executive producer.
Oh, okay.
It's this guy that walks around New York and films stuff.
Okay.
It is. I can't talk about it. There's a thing about a guy who's trying to grow back his foreskin, and there's footage in this thing that I can't even talk about because it's you lose your mind. You just. I don't know if I can have my wife watch it. It's so insane. She'll hate me if she's. It's like imprinted on my brain, and it's just so.
Oh,
it's so weird. I don't know what to say.
What is this called? How
to with John Wilson. It's on
John Wilson.
It's on Max, which I thought HBO had bought Cinemax, and merged them together, and that's why it was HBO Max. And then when they changed it to Max, they just threw off the HBO. But HBO Max has nothing to do with Cinemax. My wife was like, "You're an
totally
idiot.
Separate.
You don't know what you're talking about."
Well, she's not wrong, Dan. Okay.
It's not too wrong.
Oh boy.
What do we got for next week, Tony?
Well, next week I got a real treat, but wanting to do this for a while. This was the movie that I thought was going to be the lowest rated comedy/movie of the summer. And it is somehow, Dan Goodsell, it is sitting at an 87% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is this The Machine?
This is The Machine. There's no way it's an 87% movie. I refuse to believe it, but we're going to find out next week.
You watched the other one, right? You watched the Matasukas one, right?
Yeah, about my father.
And
yeah,
you thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah, very funny.
So
I refuse to believe this is funny.
We're going to watch The Machine, which has
I'm
some
come
other
in with a bad attitude.
It has a guy with a different name, right? What is his name?
Burt McCracken. I'm still saying it wrong. It's Burt
McCracken.
Burt
Kreischer.
Kreischer.
Wait, why are you calling him Burt McCracken if his name is Burt Kreischer?
Because I don't remember his name, and that's just the first name. I think it's because at one point that's just what I said, and now it's what I think of every time. It's Burt McCracken. I don't know his name.
What is wrong with you? Okay, so we're going to be doing The Machine, which has Mark Hamill in it, right? Yeah,
It does have Mark Hamill. I love him.
Thing. So Mark Hamill can be funny. He can be funny.
He can be, but I refuse to believe Burt can be. We'll see.
We'll see
what happens.
So we'll be back next week with The Machine. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up or a like button, or leave a comment if there's a movie you want us to do, or you can subscribe. We gained 6 subscribers in the last month for some reason, probably because of the Twilight movies did pretty good. It was really weird.
People love Twilight.
The first one we did, of the 4, nobody watched. Like a few people watched. Then the second one, we have like about 100 views. Then the third one, it went back down to
that doesn't sound like us.
Back down to like 26, and then the fourth one is over 60.
The algorithm's weird. I don't know. Listen, we don't get a lot of views anyhow. So
it's kind of funny. I was just
thanks for watching 100 people.
Yeah,
That's
thanks.
incredible.
Yeah.
Also, if you made it this far into the podcast, go get yourself a treat. You deserve it. I'm proud of you. This was a long one.
Go get an ice cream. You deserve this.
You deserve it. Treat yourself.
Do not watch a Kevin Hart movie before you watch this movie.
Amen to that. Oof. Wild Hogs.
And we'll see you next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch it!